Hey friends, Rachel Alford here from Cozy Nooks Designs, and today we're going to make the Joyful Stocking together, which is a crochet kit that I've made in collaboration with Lion Brand Yarn. I'm so excited again to be able to do another kit with them. I also have a knit version of this pattern, the Cheerful Stocking. So if you want to try out the knit version, I'll drop a link in the description below. And then also there is a full free blog post of how to do the Joyful Crochet Stockings, and I will drop the link right here. So check that out if you like the written instructions. These stockings are made from the toe up, and the granny squares are made and seamed together and then stitched onto the top of the stocking that way. Since this stocking is made using granny stripes, it actually works up very quickly. So if you are procrastinating some of your Christmas decoration, I got you. So let's jump in and let me show you what materials you'll need. For these two stockings, you're going to need 4 colors of basic stitch anti-pilling yarn, Lion Brand made. It's 185 yards per skein, and for the first stocking, you will use these 3 colors, and then for the second stocking, you'll use these 3 colors. So not all 4 colors will be in each stocking. And then you'll need scissors, stitch markers, tapestry needle, and then an H 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. To begin, I'm going to take my yarn and do a magic ring. So my tail is on this side, and I'm going to wrap it around my 2 fingers like this so that my working yarn is on top, like that. Take my hook, go under this side of the X, and grab my working yarn and bring it up like this. And then I'm going to pinch the intersection of the X and take it off my fingers. And now you can see I have this little ring right here, and I'm going to be working into that ring. But first, I'm going to do 2 chains. So yarn over, pull through, that's 1, yarn over, pull through 2, or pull through 1, and that's 2 chains. And you can see our ring better now. So working into that ring, we're going to do 7 half double crochets. So yarn over, insert your hook in that ring, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, or pull through 3, yarn over, going back into that same ring, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3, again. So that's 3 stitches that I've made, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So counting my beginning chains, that is 8 half double crochets. And you can see what my ring looks like right now. It's too big, but this is the magic part of the magic ring. You take the tail and you give it a gentle tug, and the ring closes up. So you can see the center of that ring has no hole really at all, which is why a lot of people preferred the magic ring over beginning chains. So for this pattern, we're going to do the toe with no joining. So that completes round 1. For round 2, we're going to do 2 half double crochets into the top of the beginning chains. This is the beginning chains, so into the top of it, I'm going to place 2 half double crochets, and then I'm going to mark the beginning of my round after my first half double crochet. So going into the top of the chain, that's 1, and I'm going to mark the start of the round like that. And if your magic ring opens like this, it's not a big deal. You can easily just give it a tug and pull it closed, and once I sew in the ends, it will stay closed. So don't stress about that. So there's 1 going into that same stitch. There's 2. My next stitch that I will work into is right here, and I'm going to place 2 half double crochets into this stitch. So going into the top of that first half double crochet, whoops, I forgot to yarn over. I'm doing a half double crochet, back into that same stitch. I'm doing a half double crochet into the next one, 2 half double crochets into the same stitch, again into the next one, 2 half double crochets, 2, 1, 2, next stitch, 1, 2, next stitch, 1, 2, and then our last stitch we will work 2 half double crochets. So in this round we should end with 16 half double crochets. Let's double check ourselves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, because this indicates the beginning of our round here. So we did it correctly. Let's do round 3 together just to make sure we have the hang of it. For round 3, we're going to do 2 half double crochets into the same stitch and then half double crochet 1 into the next. So into this next stitch, I'm going to do my first half double crochet, and then I'm going to pause, place my stitch markers so I don't lose track of the beginning of the round. Going into that same stitch, half double crochet 1, working into the next stitch, half double crochet only 1 into that stitch. Working into the next stitch, half double crochet 2 into the same stitch, and then the next stitch, only half double crochet 1. So I'm going to repeat that around, and I'm going to continue on in the pattern, how it indicates whether you do 2 into the same stitch or 1. I'm just going to follow the pattern. And then let's meet back up on round 8 together. We'll do the changing colors together. Here I am at the end of round 8. You can see what the toe of the stocking is looking like, and I have 2 more stitches left in this round, and I wanted to do it with you. So after I just continue doing my half double crochets around, and when I reach my last stitch, I'm going to pause when I have 3 stitches or 3 loops left on my hook, grab my new color, and in this stocking it's color C. I'm going to place it onto my hook and then pull through all 3 loops on my hook to complete that half double crochet. And that is how you do round 8 and switch colors. So for round 9, we're going to start working on the foot of the stocking. So we're going to skip 2 stitches and then place 3 double crochets into this next stitch here. So yarning over, and I'm going to skip 1, 2, working into here, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets into the same stitch, and 3 double crochets. Repeating that around, skip 2 stitches, working into this stitch right here, 3 double crochets into that same stitch, 1, 2, 3. Skip 2, working into this stitch, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to repeat this around off camera, and we'll pick back up on round 10 together. But one thing that I want to mention for this pattern, it says to fasten off the colors when you're not using it, and you can cut it and then add the colors for each stripe when you need to. But when I made it, I actually just carried my colors. So you can see here's the toe of the red, and then when I needed it for round 11, I just carried it up. So you can do it that way, and it will cut down on how many ends you have to weave in. But if you're worried about how it will look on the inside, then of course you can just cut and weave in the ends. But it really is hid well, I think, behind the granny stripes. So I really don't think you can see it on the right side. So that's always an option as well. But let's meet up and do round 10 together. here I am at the end of round 9. I'm almost done with it. So skip 2, double crochet 3 into the same stitch here, 2, 3, and then to complete the round I need to skip 2 and then work into this space right here. So 1, 2, skip, working into this space right here, 3 double crochets, 2 and 3. And that completes round 9. Here's the start of round 10. You can see that each end of the row is going to have 2 double crochet groups right next to each other, diagonal to each other. So to begin round 10, you're going to double crochet 3 into the space between the double crochet groups. So yarning over and inserting your hook into the space here, drop a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, going back into that same space, double crochet, and then back into that space again for the last time, double crochet. This is how you do the granny stripe, by working into the space between the double crochet groups. So into this next space here, we're going to do our 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to continue working around in that manner for round 10 and for the rest of the foot, and let's do round 18 at the end together. This is the end of round 18. You can see what it looks like here. And so I have 6 more stitches I need to work, 3 right here and 3 right here. So I'm going to do 3 double crochets in this space. 1, 2, 3. And now the pattern says that in the last space between the last double crochet groups, we're going to do half double crochet 1, single crochet 1, and slip stitch 1 instead of double crochets. So half double crochet into that last space, and then single crochet, and then slip stitch. And we are going to just fasten this off, cutting it. And then you can see I just carried my yarn up, but we are going to work on the heel now, so we need to cut that as well. And the pattern also says that we need to place a stitch marker on stitch 36 of round 18. So stitch 36 is the 12th group of double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that last stitch in that grouping is the 36th stitch, and where we place our stitch marker. So we have been working in continuous rounds, but now we're going to be working in rows and turning our work because we're doing the heel of the stocking. So for the row 1 of the heel, you're going to insert your hook into that marked stitch. So that's stitch 36, and you're going to take color D. You're going to take D and insert your hook through that loop there, that stitch, and then chain 2. And that chain 2, remember, does count as a stitch. So after we chain 2, we're going to half double crochet 1 into the next 21 stitches, thus making 21 or 22 stitches for this row. So going into this next stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and you can see this stitch right here is the slip stitch, so just make sure you still remember to work that stitch. So that's 12 half double crochets, and then also make sure you work this next stitch right here. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So there's my 22 stitches for row 1. So now we're going to do row 2 by turning our work, chaining 2, and then it says to half double crochet 2 together for this row. So working into the next stitch here, we're going to insert our hook after we've yarned over, draw up a loop, yarn over, insert our hook into the next stitch, and then pull through all the loops on your hook, and that's a half double crochet decrease. So we're turning two stitches into one here. And then it says we need to single or half double crochet 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now we need to do a half double crochet decrease again. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, draw up a loop. We have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, insert our hook into the next stitch. We have 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 5 loops on our hook. And it says we need to half double crochet 7 again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And you can see we have 3 stitches left. 1, 2, and then the top of the beginning chains 3. So we need to do a half double crochet in this stitch here, and then a half double crochet decrease in those last 2 stitches. So half double crochet 1, and then half double crochet decrease on those last 2 stitches. That's row 2. So I'm going to continue doing this pattern. We'll meet back up for row 6. I just finished row 5. You can see that it's increasing inwards like this, or decreasing inwards like this, and now we're going to start increasing. So row 6 is an increase row. So after chaining 2, I'm going to half double crochet in the same stitch. So at the base of the chain, I'm going to half double crochet 1, and then I'm going to half double crochet 1 in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Half double crochet 2 into the same stitch. So half double crochet 1, going back into that same stitch, half double crocheting another one, and then half double crochet 1 in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and then half double crochet 1 into this stitch right here, and half double crochet 2 into the top of the chains. So my first half double crochet 1, and then going back into the top of the chains again, doing another half double crochet. And so this row has 13 stitches to end. I'm going to chain 2 and turn, and let's do row 7 together. For row 7, we're going to half double crochet 1 into the same stitch at the base of the beginning chains, and then we're going to half double crochet 1 in the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and half double crochet 2 into the same stitch. So going back into that same stitch, placing another half double crochet, and then half double crochet 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then half double crochet 2 into the beginning chains. So into the top of the chain, there's 1 half double crochet, going back into that same stitch, half double crochet again. So that is row 7. I'm going to do rows 8 and 9 off camera, and then we'll talk about seaming the heel together. I just finished the end of row 9, and so it says we need about a foot cut of yarn. And then it says with wrong side facing. So you can see, you can flip it inside out if that makes you feel better. But this is my right side that I'm looking at right now. And so I just need my right sides to be folded onto each other. And now the wrong side is facing, which is what I need. And then it says to take your tapestry needle, thread it, and then we're going to whip stitch along here, and then cut another length and whip stitch along here. So I have my tapestry needle, and I'm going through the ends of the rows with my yarn and needle and just doing a simple whip stitch. This is going to close up the heel and give it that nice cupped shape that we want. All right, this will be my last one. Now I'm going to cut a foot of yarn for the other side. And you're going to want to keep this stitch marker on. Hopefully you haven't taken it off yet. We're going to need it for round 19. So you're going to want to keep that still attached. So for this side, you can start in the corner here or in the corner here. I just prefer to do it at the top first so I can make sure that my ends meet up how I need them to. Whoops, I pulled all the way through. I was just going to say to you guys, be careful not to pull all the way through. All right, there we go. So leaving a tail so that you can weave it in after. Whip stitch back down the edge of this side of the heel, going through both thicknesses. And it doesn't need to be perfect. Oh my word, come on. There we go. There we go. I'll probably do 2 more stitches here. Get that corner good. There we go. So I'm going to turn it right side out, and you can see how it creates this little heel. For round 19, we begin by inserting our hook in that marked stitch from round 18, and then we're going to grab C, is this C? No, B. Grab B and attach it, and then we're going to chain 3 to begin. And this is going to be our 3rd double crochet when we come around at the very end of this round. Okay, so now it says we need to skip 2 stitches and then double crochet 3 into the same stitch. So you can see this right here is kind of a muddled mess. This is where we seamed it together, this right here. So the first stitch we're going to skip is actually this one right here. So 1, 2, and then working into this stitch right here, we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Give this a little tug. There we go. So 3 double crochets into that stitch right there, and then we're going to skip 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, working into this stitch, double crochet 3 into the same stitch here. 2, 3, skip 2, 1, 2, working into this stitch, double crochet 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, working into this stitch right here, double crochet 3 into this stitch, 1, 2, 3, skip 2, 1, 2, working into this stitch, double crochet 3, 1, 2, 3, and then skip 1, 2, 3, working into this stitch, double crochet 3, 1, 2, and 3. Now we can double crochet in the space between the double crochet groupings. So this is back to the regular granny stripe. So I'm placing 3 double crochets in that space there. And then into the next space right here, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to continue working around until I reach my beginning. So for this round 19, it's like it was split because each of the colors are worked in rows of 2, except for the yellow. So it's like this color grouping was split in half to make way for the heel. So we're trying to make this look as seamless as we can and make it look like as if the heel just blends perfectly within the pattern that we've created. So now we're along the front of the stocking here, working our 3 double crochets into this next space, 1, 2, 3. I have a few more now. 1, 2, 3. Let's see, you're almost there. 1, 2, 3. And now this is our beginning chain 3 that I said would count as our last double crochet stitch. So in this space here, we're only going to do 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. And that is round 19. Oh, I forgot, sorry. We need to switch to yellow in that last stitch there. So I'm going to complete that last double crochet with yellow like that. And so now the next space that we're going to work is right here. So I have my yellow, I yarn over, and I double crochet 1, 2, 3, working into this next space, 1, 2, 3. Let me show you what it looks like. Give these a little tug. There we go. So you can see how that corner is now becoming the start of the color changes. So I'm going to continue off camera doing rounds 20 through 31, following the pattern. Round 31 is similar to round 18, where the last grouping you're going to do a single crochet, or sorry, a half double crochet, single crochet, slip stitch into the last space instead of doing double crochets. And that is because we want the round to become even, because then we will be sewing the cuff along the top there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera, and then we will do the granny squares together. For round 1 of the granny square, we're going to first begin by chaining 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and slip stitching into that first chain we made to create a ring like this. And now working round 1, we chain 3, and going into this loop that we created, this ring, we're going to double crochet 2, 1, 2, and then chain 2, double crochet 3, 1, 2, 3, double crochet 2, or sorry, chain 2, double crochet 3, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and now this is the last side of the square here, so we're going to double crochet 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we will chain 2 and join to the top of this chain 3 with a slip stitch. For round 2, we begin by slip stitching to this chain 2 space. So going into this stitch right here, we're going to slip stitch, and then we're going to slip stitch into this first chain 1. And then we begin by chaining 3 and double crocheting 2 into this space here. 1, 2, then we chain 2, 1, 2, going back into the same space, double crocheting 3, 1, 2, 3, working into this next chain 2 space, the next corner, we will double crochet 3, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, going back into that same corner, double crochet 3, 1, 2, 3, next chain 2 space, the next corner, double crochet 3, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, double crochet 3, back into the same corner, 2, 3, next corner, double crochet 3, right here, 1, 2, 3, chain 2, back into the same corner, double crochet 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to join in the top of these chains into the third chain, join with a slip stitch. For round 3, we begin the same way by slip stitching to the corner. So going into this stitch first, slip stitch 1, slip stitch 2, and then slip stitch into that first chain there. And then we begin by chaining 3, double crocheting 2 into this corner, 1, 2, chain 2, back into the same space, the same corner, double crochet 3, 2, 3. Now working in the space between the two groups of double crochets, we will do 3 double crochets in that space. So right here, 3 double crochets, 1, 2, 3. Working into the corner, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, 2, 3, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Working in the space between the 2 double crochet groups, double crochet 3, 1, 2, 3. Now working into the corner, double crochet 3, chain 2, double crochet 3. And this is the last round for the granny squares for this pattern, but this is a very simple granny square repeat that you can easily make bigger or smaller based off of what you're needing, what size granny square you're needing. So I just did the space between the 2 groups. This is my last corner. So double crochet 3, 2, 3, chain 2, going back into the same corner, double crochet 3, 1, 2, 3, double crochet 3 in the space between the 2 groups, 1, 2, 3, and then join into that top chain for our beginning chain 3. So that is how you do the granny square. Make 4 of them for this pattern. You can see I already made my 4 granny squares and I already seamed them together so that they were in a row. If you want the tutorial on mattress seaming, which is what I used, I do have a video on that and I will link it below in the description and as the first comment and pin it so that you can know how to do the mattress seaming. And now I'm going to mattress seam this seam right here so that I can then seam it onto the top of the cuff. And I'm going to do most of the seaming off camera, but I do need to show you how to seam the cuff onto the stocking when you reach a vertical seam. So we will go over how to do that together. You can see I began doing the mattress seam for the cuff. I like to have one granny square centered on the stocking so that there are these cute little semi-scallops at the top, but you can rotate however you want. But I wanted to show you how to do the mattress seam when you reach a vertical seam of the granny squares. So there are 48 stitches on the top of the stocking, and then each square has 11 stitches, so that's 44 stitches. But then we have this vertical seam that each has 1 stitch, which makes 48 stitches. So what we need to do is we need to work this side of the vertical seam and this side of the vertical seam so that it is just 1 stitch instead of working this side and this side. So let me show you how to do that. Let me finish getting to that point. Okay, so this is the stitch before the vertical seam. Okay, so this side is this granny square, and this side is this granny square. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up through this side of the granny square and then go up through this granny square, and that acts as 1 stitch now to then correspond with the top of the stocking. And that way you will have 48 stitches and the cuff will match up perfectly with the stocking. Let's work on the hanging loop together. So I chained 21 stitches, and this is color C that I'm working with. And now you can see I have the loop on my hook and then 1, 2 stitches, 2 chains. I'm going to work into the second chain for my hook and I'm going to single crochet. And I'm going to continue single crocheting all the way down until I have 20 single crochets. And then after I've done that, I will turn my work chain 1 and single crochet back across, and then one more row. So I have 3 rows of single crochet. And then I will show you how we're going to sew this hanging loop onto the top of the cuff, or the top of the cuff. Here is my hanging loop. You can see I left a long tail, and I probably should have left a longer beginning tail, but I forgot to do that. And then let me zoom out. You can see I have my stocking with the heel on the right, and so I'm going to sew it slightly on the inside on the right side here. So let's do that together. First, you can cut a length of yarn, or you can try to use the beginning tail, whatever you're most comfortable with. And then you take it so that you have a loop like this. And then I'm just going to sew along the bottom edge here to secure my loop and keep it easier to sew onto the actual stocking. All right, one more. And I'll worry about that end later. So now we have our loop, and then I'm going to take my ending tail, thread my needle, and get ready to sew this on the inside. So you don't want it right on the tip of the stocking, otherwise you're going to see if it gets pulled at all or anything, you're going to see it. So you're going to want to sew it a little bit on the inside, probably 1 or 2 granny stripes down. So I think that looks about good. So I'm just going to hold it in place here. And then when you sew it, you only want to grab the thread, the yarn loop that is on the inside of the stocking. You don't want to go all the way through, because then you will see the color on the outside, and you don't want that. So I'm just grabbing one loop on the inside and sewing it across the end of this loop here. I'll probably go back and forth 1 or 2 times just to make sure it is really secure and that this loop won't budge. You can see I have reached a hole with the granny stripe, so I'm just going to make sure that I bridge over to the other side so that I have a spot to sew to. Here we go, and there we go. I think I will go 1 loop up the edge of the hanging loop as well, 1 stitch up the loop, just to make sure it's really good and secure. All right, so checking on the right side, like I said, you can see this is peeking through right here, but that doesn't bother me. I think that looks fine. So I'm going to go back across here and make sure that it is really secure. And then going up the side a little bit. Perfect. I'll probably do 1 more across off camera so that I can really make sure that it's secure, but you can see what it looks like. And that's how you make the Joyful Stockings. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. I hope you liked it. I am Rachel from Cozy Nooks Designs, and make sure that you give it a thumbs up, comment if you have any questions, and subscribe to my channel for future free patterns and tips.